For more on all of this, let me bring in political analyst and author Rich Rubino. Rich, it's always good to have you. Canadians are putting the blame on Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick for moving the goalposts at the 11th hour on this deal, just when it looked like a deal was about to be locked in. What do you make of that reporting, and do you think the Trump administration is regretting that intervention?
I think from a political standpoint, I don't know about Donald Trump himself, but I think there are certainly members of the administration that certainly are regretting this simply because of because of the effects that it has, particularly on rural states like Maine, where Susan Collins is up. She's the only Republican up for re-election in a state that last time went for Vice President Harris. It's also the second most rural state behind Vermont. So I think from a political standpoint, this is something that really can have deleterious effects on the president, and the Democrats certainly are trying to capitalize on this.
Yeah, and the Canadian government knows this trade war is going to cause headaches on both sides of the border. Canada just yesterday announcing its own retaliatory tariffs. Who's this going to hurt more, Americans or Canadians?
I think it's probably going to hurt Americans more simply because it's going to hurt both sides of the border, but I think Americans are certainly going to be hurt more. I think certainly the lumber industry, as Susan Collins talked about, for example, in Maine, the blueberries, potatoes, there are going to be a lot of items that are going to be a lot more expensive as a result of these tariffs. And I think that the Canadians are certainly counting on the fact that in the midterm elections that people will come out, that they will be kind of inflamed by this as they see the prices increase at a time that certainly as the trade war intensifies, at a time that prices are going up in the United States. Consequently, many voters will come out and they will vote for Republicans and potentially give the Republicans control of the House of Representatives and maybe even the United States Senate.
Just when it comes to rhetoric around all of this, Rich, let me pop up one of the president's Truth Socials from this week. He said, on trade and in other ways also, they are among the worst nations in the world to deal with. They feel entitled, and yet we don't need Canada. They need us. They do 95% of their business with the U.S., with us, the exact opposite. I'm just curious if you're surprised by the language that the president is using toward one of our closest allies here.
No, if you go back to when he ran for president in 2015, the Republican Party was pretty much uniform in terms of being in favor of free trade. There were a few exceptions, but they were, for example, very much advocates of the North American Free Trade Agreement. It began under the Reagan administration. George H.W. Bush helped to negotiate it. Republicans got it through the United States Congress working with Bill Clinton. Donald Trump came in 2015, said it was one of the worst trade agreements ever made, tried to negotiate a new deal with them, but he basically comes from this, and this is the one thing he's always been consistent on. He believes that Canada, Mexico, he believes that other countries are not giving a fair deal to the United States. Consequently, he tried to renegotiate NAFTA. He believed that the Canadians still were not complying. So I think that his rhetoric toward Canada is something that really is very consistent with his ideological mindset, going back really to the 1980s when he was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey and talked about how he supported the use of protective tariffs to create jobs and protect what he believed was protecting domestic industry.
Well, certainly a fascinating place we find ourselves in. We'll see what happens between now and
Indeed.
September 8th. Rich Rubino, thanks for your time, sir, as always.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Have a great day. Well, the White House